really think you should.
What is up, my crew? This is Yelsi here with another video. It's sort of a tiny little review. If you haven't followed my Facebook page, I actually was gonna do a let's play of a game called Pokemon League of Legends, but the quality of the capturing that I did, I used OBS. It was not good, and I kind of just said screw it. So I'm not gonna do that. I've actually been dedicating my time towards Data Emerald since I'm out of school. And I've been working a lot more. I actually got a new job. But that's not what I want this video to be about. Today, I want to discuss something that probably none of you guys ever play it anymore, or is starting to get back into it. I want to talk about a new thing within a little mobile game called Pokemon Go. Now, if you don't know what Pokemon Go is, it's basically the game Pokemon, but in the real world. And recently, the game got updated with a whole new gym battling system and a raid boss thing, I guess a new mode. So I just want to give my personal opinion about this. Now, I'll just tell you this right now. I'm not going to go like soft on it. I'm going to go and full on it, fully like honest. And that's just what because that's my job of reviewing stuff. I just want to like let people know what's going on. So the new gym battle system. The big difference is that in the old system, you were allowed to have 10 Pokemon in the gym, and you were able to proceed it to, I think, to like 50,000 points or something. I heard there can be over that. I'm not too sure. But in this new update, it's only 6, and it has to be different Pokemon. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, you can't have a gym of 10 Blissies, all right? I've seen that. I participated in that. In this gym, you can have a Blissey, Snorlax, Tyranitar, Dragonite, Vaporeon, and a Heracross. That literally, you can't have 2 of the same Pokemon in it, which is great because it also brings out a sort of variety of the team. And you can only put in 6, which is interesting, different, but interesting. The one thing I also like is that they also included something called a motivation feature. Basically means is that you can't just leave Pokemon in the gym and leave it unattended. Basically, what happens is that the Pokemon has a sort of... the best way to say it is the motivation is geared towards CP. So CP is dependent on motivation. If your motivation is very low, the CP of your Pokemon will be very low. So that's actually kind of interesting, and I kind of like that sort of a humane kind of thing. It's weird. It's actually kind of cool, I guess. I mean, why not? And there's one thing that I also saw that happened to me, and I don't know if it's a glitch or anything, but it's interesting. So let's say your friend puts in a 2500 CP Ursaring, and then you put in a 3000 CP Dragonite. And let's say they don't get touched for a little while. No one battles the gym, they just leave it. I want you to take a guess on who's going to last in the gym longer. If you think it's the Dragonite because it's a higher CP, with the higher CP meaning that a less the chance of it going into back to your trainer, that's actually not true. Apparently, if you have a Pokemon that has a CP of 3000 or more, its motivation will drop 10% more than a 2500 CP Pokemon. I didn't know this, but, you know, even though Dragonite stayed in there for a little while, it was able to stay there for, like, a really long time, so I wasn't too upset about it. And I got a lot of coins out of that, which is pretty good. People are not happy with the new coin system. Here's the thing. The new coin system is if your Pokemon has been in a gym for every 10 minutes, you get a coin. So let's say it stays in for 20 minutes. You get 2 coins. And it has a cap of 50 Pokecoins. People say that's a daily limit. Is it really a daily limit? Because the thing is that I had my Blissey in a gym for like 2 days and I only got 50 coins back. Legitimately 2 days, I even checked. And I only got 50 coins back. So I'm thinking that it's a cap of it in general. I kind of like this because you're not putting like a ton of Pokemon in like a bunch of different gyms, which is, I actually kind of prefer that because I love my Blissey. It's one of my favorite Pokemon to put in gyms because Blissey's a boss in the core games. Either that or I'll put in one of my, not one of them, my Ampharos, which is great. But all in all, I like the new gym update and pretty good. Apparently, a lot of people are kind of indifferent about it. I like it. One little tip, if you see your own gym, like let's say you're a Mystic player and you see a Mystic gym, or an Instinct player seeing an Instinct gym, just check to make sure that their motivation's up. Because not only, and you can feed them through berries, because not only do you get Stardust, which is required to power Pokemon, but you also have a chance of getting a candy, which is kind of cool. Let's say, like, for example, you see a Tyranitar, it's low motivation. Feed it a berry, that's a chance you'll get an extra Larvitar candy, which for me, I kind of need, because I want to get more candies from my Tyranitar. Sorry. Now, I was just thinking about last Monday, alright? Which sort of goes into my next topic, and my only second option is the raid bosses. Now, if you don't know what a raid boss is, it's basically, the best way to describe it is look at the reveal trailer for Pokemon Go. Do you remember the part where all the people in Times Square battle the Mewtwo? That's basically what it is, except Legendaries aren't available yet. It's actually, I'll just tell you right now, even though I'm about to say what I'm about to say, I love it to death. It's great, but it needs work. Now, there are 5 tiers or levels of gym bosses, raid bosses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, obviously. 1 is for, I think, the middle Johto starters and Magikarp. Now, here's the thing. If you see a Magikarp raid, if you have the raid pass and you're not doing anything, I would consider taking it out. And level 1, level 2, I'll just be honest, you can take them out by yourself. If you're at a high enough level, you can take them down by yourself. But I would recommend taking down a Magikarp level boss, because not only is it easy raid experience, and I think you get some rare candies out of it, but I'm not too sure, there is a higher chance of it being shiny, which is actually really cool, because I don't have one yet, which is alright. It's like one of the last Pokemon I really need. Well, besides regional exclusives, but that's whatever. And then you got level 2. I don't know what's on level 2. Level 3 is what I really want. Okay, so I think level 3 has Gengars, Alakazams, Machamps. I really want Alakazam, because Alakazam's really neat. Now, what do I mean by, like, oh, I need these Pokemon? The thing is that once you beat the raid boss with your friends, you actually have a chance to catch it. That's good and bad. I'll explain it later, because there's more to talk about. Level 4, Level 4, I think it's the final Kanto starters, like evolutions of Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise. And the big one that I thought would be kind of rare to find, but apparently people are popping up all over the place finding them, is Tyranitar. In fact, just down the street from me, a Tyranitar raid started. Now, that and Rhydon, which apparently no one wants, I actually wouldn't mind finding a Rhydon, because Rhydon's actually a really cool Pokemon. I can't wait for Rhyperior. That thing's gonna be a freaking boss. Now, here's the thing. I mentioned before Tyranitar, I got a little upset. You could slightly hear it in my voice. Here's why. I told everyone I wasn't upset about getting Tyranitar, but I kind of was. It would have been really cool to get it one for free, why not? But let me tell you a little story. Alright, so I am at home. I think I was preparing for my job training, which was actually the next day. And just to let you know, this is a week from July 3rd, so it was last Monday. I'm doing this voiceover July 2nd, 2017, so I thought it would be a week from what just happened. Anyways, almost said my friend's name, jeez. My friends all freak out, and they're telling me about a Tyranitar down the street. Harris, I'll edit that, don't worry. But my friend was at the gym, I think, or was going to the gym. And my other friend needed a ride, so I got in my car, and I was like, screw it. I'd never done a raid before, so why not? So I got in my car, got my friend, and we drove over to the spot. There was a ton of people there, which was great, because here's the thing about raids that I love, is that there are some raids you can't do by yourself. For example, I tried to one-shot the Tyranitar by myself, and even though it started doing some things that I'll explain later, I still couldn't beat it. Anyways, I get there, and I didn't know this. Apparently, they need a raid pass. Now, the raid pass is basically an item you need to participate in raids. You can get the raid pass, which is the free one you can just do when you spin a gym, because that's the one thing I like about the new gym update is that gyms are Pokestops now. But you can only hold one. So you spin it, you get the free one. And in order to get another one, you got to use it. And then you get the premium raid passes, which is actually a smart move by Niantic, which is basically you got to spend your Pokecoins to get it. I honestly don't really need it, to be honest. I didn't bother. But I had to get it. But then something weird happened with my phone. Apparently, the game got really, really slow. The little circle came up. No Pokemon spawn, no Pokestops, no gyms, and I was stuck. Eventually loaded, and I got the raid pass, and apparently Pokemon you can get gym badges, which is actually kind of funny. And then I was trying to join. Everyone was already in there, but it wouldn't load. In fact, my phone started to overheat. Everything got really slow. And then eventually got into the Pokemon selection screen, but I already had everyone set up. The big one that I wanted to use was my Heracross. Now, I named him Mewtwo Money because one of my subscribers on Facebook caught me one. Like, I gave my account information. I checked him out. He was all legit. And he gave me the Heracross, and it knows the best moveset, which is great. And it's honestly, that in Machamp is what you need against Tyranitars because Dark and Fighting, 4 times super effective damage, including stat. That, I had my Feraligatr, 100% Feraligatr that I caught while taking a shit in the Bronx. What else did I use? I didn't really use a lot because I had my 2 Dragonites. The third one I did not want to use, honestly. And then I used my Blissey. My Blissey, I said, screw it, let's put him in. And the last one, I'm not too sure. I think it was I think I just BS'd it and I just put in my Jimmy Jam, which is my current Tyranitar. And then I waited. But then the little bar kept on showing up, which really was like, okay, something's going to happen and it's going to piss me off. Sometimes this happens when you go in gym battles. I thought this was over with. It kept on coming down the top screen saying network error, network error, network error. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then the battle started. I was already going, everyone's right in there, but then this is where the problem came in. The go thing never went away. And I was tapping like, okay, maybe I'm doing something on someone else's screen. And then I got the big problem. Error, and I was sent back to the beginning screen while everyone was trying to take down Tyranitar. So everyone else beat it. Some of them caught it, some of them didn't. There's a reason why, I'll explain later. And I was left out. I got very pissed. Not because I, didn't get a Tyranitar. I say it, I'm not upset. I don't really care. I'm just like, it just pissed me off knowing that this was a problem. That apparently, I looked this up later, that everyone's having. I have a Motorola Droid Turbo 2 Android device, and apparently everyone that has an Android has a problem. And I realized, I think in that group, a lot of people had iPhones, which I was like, okay, that's great. So Niantic made it work on iPhones, not Android. So you know what? I was like, okay, screw this. And then a second group came in. I tried to get in again, kicked out. All set up, kicked out again. Everyone else got it except for me. Third group came in, I finally got in, and I had a blast, honestly. After the third freaking try of getting kicked out of every single group, I had to literally team up with another team. And that seriously ticked me off. We still couldn't beat it, by the way, but you know what? I think these guys were low level and they were using Pokemon that were not that great against Tyranitar, so I was like, well, shit. And I said, screw it, and just gave up on it. Because I think the next time I was trying to get in, it left. Because with the raids is an hour time limit, which is actually quite enough time, honestly. But it just really pissed me off that I wanted to join with my friends. I wanted to join people who I actually became friends with there. That's the one thing, that's a good and bad thing about this kind of thing, is that with raids, when you get together people, you start making new friends, or just meeting people you never met before. Hell, that's, what I've been doing recently. Then the second time I did a raid was with the Snorlax down the street. Again, I was like, okay, I don't really like Snorlax, to be honest. I'm like the only person that doesn't, because I'm sort of the guy who kills them. And I get there, and we don't really need a lot of people, honestly, because the comparison is Tyranitar is like 34,707 CP. Snorlax is like 25,000 something. And I thought, okay, we only need like a few people. So I had my whole setup. I got my baby Heracross, my Dragonites, my Blissey. So excuse me. And I'm all set up. And by sheer luck, I got in the battle 20 to 30 seconds in. Meaning that the battle started and I already lost some time. We missed taking out this Snorlax by such a small margin. It pissed me off that the game registered me later in the battle, which is complete garbage. I just got so angry and just said screw it and just didn't even bother getting it again. And then the next time I did a raid, level 3 raid this time. It was a Machamp. I didn't need it, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to experience a raid, not get kicked for like the 50 freaking time. So I did it. I finally got in. But the one thing that sucked was I got in and these other like 4 or 5 people were already taking it out. I'm like, son of a bitch. And I had to figure out how to get in. I couldn't figure out the code. And they already beat it by the time I got out. I'm like, damn it. I tried one-shotting it and it didn't work. Now, here's the thing about the network error. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Good in the sense that when I was taking out the Machamp, it did not do anything. Network error, every time it came up, it would not do any damage. It would just stand there and just just wouldn't do anything. It's kind of amazing. And the same thing happened with Tyranitar when I tried to take it on by myself. That even when I had my Heracross and knew like fighting type moves, 2 minutes in, I did no damage. Now, people say that, oh, it's overpowered, you can't do that, and they need to make it weaker. I'm just sitting there like, it's Tyranitar, it's supposed to be like that. I wasn't upset, I just want to see what it felt like. And even though I had those problems, I had a ton of fun doing it. I am 0 and 3 at raids so far. But it's whatever. Now, I feel like that's the only thing that needs to work is maybe it's the servers. I looked up, there's a fix that on Android that if you have the clock set to automatic and checked off, it would work. That's happened to Machamp. I tried it and it sort of worked. I got in 5 seconds in. I didn't really care. I did a crap ton of damage and I had fun doing it. If I had like 1 or 2, maybe 3 more people with me, I would have taken it out in seconds. You know what? It was fun. I had a lot of fun. But there's one problem I have with it is the after battle. Now, the after battle is... Well, what I think I should talk about is you get a couple things from raids. Now, they can range from a couple things. I think the lower the raid, the lower the tier, the less rare items you'll get. So I think people are trying to go after level 4 raids so they can get better items. One item you get is called a rare candy. Now, don't assume this is something that... I thought a rare candy was an item where you can pack your Pokemon for free without wasting Stardust or candies. It's not. It's basically an item where you select a Pokemon and now become one of the candy, which is kind of stupid if you think about it. That kind of sucks. I would have preferred it the way I thought it was. Use on a Pokemon, powers it up without using any candies or Stardust. And then you get golden raspberries as well, which is a raspberry, but 1,000 times better, apparently. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's RNG, random number generator at its best, basically. Then you got TMs, which I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. Because I was hoping for a feature like this. Now, if you don't know what a TM is, or technical machine, in the core Pokemon games, it's basically an item where you can teach a move to a new Pokemon. In this game, you get 2 versions. A fast TM, which is for the move where you have to tap really quick. And a charge TM, which is where you have to hold it and you'll do your like really powerful move like Hydro Pump, Hyper Beam, Earthquake, that kind of thing. But the thing is that's really makes it balanced is that you can't choose. It's random. which is might piss some people off. I'm kind of fine with it. That's whatever. And you won't get those until you battle like higher tiers. Now, that's not bad. I actually consider that balance. So if people have a problem with it, well, they can go suck a long one because I don't really care. I like that. Now, the one other big flaw besides, servers and everything, which I think they probably fixed the newest update. I think that came out like Thursday, Friday. I couldn't do it because I was at work and I had no one to play with the game. But the problem is that after the battle, you get a chance of capturing the raid boss, which is pretty cool. Now, are you allowed to use your, Ultra Balls with your golden raspberries, which would be great? No, they want you to use a Premier Ball. What exactly is a Premier Ball? It's literally a repainted Pokeball. Don't quote me on this, but I think the capture rate using a Premier Ball is exactly the same as a Pokeball. It just looks cool. Look, here's the thing, all right? Yeah, the Premier Ball looks cool. If anything, why didn't you use a freaking Cherish Ball of all things? In fact, why don't you just let the player use any Pokeball they want? It's kind of a really stupid concept. Because a Premier Ball, you're never going to see it in battle. You're not going to see any animation with the Pokeball. The only time you're ever going to see a Pokeball is when you throw it, catch it, or have it bust out. Or shake. That's really the only time you ever see a Pokeball, whether it be a Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, or even a Premier Ball, apparently. Or Master Ball, if you see that. I think there's a video of someone actually hacking the game to get Mewtwo, Mew, all those legendaries. It's just ridiculous. Now, if they wanted to include the Premier Ball, okay, should have made it as, maybe as strong as a Great Ball, but not as strong as an Ultra Ball, to make it a little bit more balanced. Because let's be real here. You really think you can capture a Tyranitar without using any berries in the core games with a freaking Premier Ball? You'd have a better chance to use a freaking Pokeball, honestly. And you would. The thing is that really ticks me off is that apparently these raids... I didn't mention level 5, by the way, because I told you there were 5 tiers. Or tiers, I don't know how the heck you say that. But there's a level 5, and everyone's assuming legendaries. And everyone's saying, oh, make sure you use those golden raspberries and use the Premier Balls. I'm sitting there like, you're never catching them if you use a freaking Premier Ball. And it's true, you're not getting them, honestly. Who the hell would want to capture a legendary using a Premier Ball? Let's be real here. Now, if this was the core games, oh, totally, go ahead, do it. Fine. Because in the core games, you screw up, you can restart. You can hit the LA start select and try it again. I've actually been the one who tried to capture legendaries with Pokeballs. Really weak Pokeballs, and sometimes they work. Because here's the thing. RNGs that's all it is when you do these freaking raid catches, is that it's all RNG. No matter how many freaking golden raspberries you use, sometimes it's never going to work. Sometimes they will, but they're for Pokemon who have lower capture rates. You try and use it on something like a freaking Mewtwo, no freaking chance. It's literally impossible to capture it. It is possible if you're playing on a core game, but you try to capture Mewtwo with a Premier Ball in Pokemon Go, where I saw, and I think this is true or not, but the game's capture rate for them, or any legendary, is not even there. Literally, you have a better chance of capturing a Togetic and a Premier Ball than you have with a legendary. Think about that for a second. It's just, I'm hoping that maybe they'll change that, because I feel like that's a waste of data right there. A waste of space for something else they could add, like actual improvements to the raid system where my phone can actually work against it. But honestly, besides all that, I feel like raids are fun. They're enjoyable, and I would recommend, trying it. Now, like I said, with raids, certain raids, you have to get a group of people together. Now, the truth is, the raids nowadays, you go there, you will find a group trying to get that raid. I will promise you that. Every raid I've ever been to, besides my friends showing up, 1, 2, maybe 3 people show up. I still remember the Tyranitar raid. I think there were like 12 people there, which is great. And I think I made one joke that is actually kind of true, and the one flaw that this isn't like a glitch or anything. This is, I have no real, you can't really stop it, but let's be real here. But I made a joke during the raid by myself. I said, and I quote, "I hope a spoofer comes along and helps me." Now, what do I mean by that? You see, in my opinion, with the new gym battle system, the new raid boss system, I feel like it got easier for spoofers to have fun. One good example of that is, I'm not even going to say his name because that's going to promote his brand and people are going to find out about him. But there's some fuckboy, and I'm not even censoring this video, so I'm just going to have these curses out no matter what. But there's this, literally the guy looks like a fuckboy who spoofs. And what happened was, he actually spoofed to a raid. Now, here's the thing. This guy is a well-known spoofer, alright? Just me talking about him, you're going to figure out who it is. He gets a ton of likes, views, and no one's called him out on it. Apparently, I looked at the comments, and a lot of people are really calling him out for spoofing. But then the raid part, when he does his very first raid, if you go now, you're not going to be able to see any freaking... You can't comment, you can't like, you can't dislike. You know why? Because everyone was calling him out. So literally, everything else he's been doing was okay. But the second he's in a raid, everyone attacked him. His dislike bar was literally like, looked exactly like Darth Vader's lightsaber, maybe even more red. Now, why is that a big deal? Because apparently a big YouTuber on, obviously YouTube, named Reversal, who is actually one of my favorite people to watch besides Mystic 7 and Trader Tips, he was in his first raid, and during it, he had a couple people there who couldn't participate because at that time, raids couldn't happen for people under, I think, level 35. And what happened was, I think there were like 4 or 5 people actually doing the raid in that group, and then there was in the game, it said there were 20. What does that mean? It means people spoofed there. And one of them was that guy that I've been talking about, the fuckboy. And the second he got that name out, everyone started attacking him. Now no one really cares. Here's the thing with me is that I don't really care about spoofing. Because it's like, as long as you're not affecting me, I don't give a crap. As long as you're not affecting everyone else, I don't give a crap. That's the only thing I have a problem with spoofing is if you start attacking gyms, I'm going to be pissed. But with this new update, it's kind of like you're kind of asking for spoofers to help you, in a way. That's the thing, like, I know it sounds kind of weird, but it's actually kind of true. You're kind of hoping that a spoofer comes along and helps you. For a good example, what did I say about the raid? I was the only one there with, like, a few people who were weaker than me, and I'm level 31. And I was like, please let there be like a little 40 spoofer show up. And not only that, but you also have the people who do take down gyms as, you know, spoofing and stuff, or bots even, who could come along and help their fellow teammates by feeding them berries whenever the heck they want. And they can do whatever the hell they want, because they can spin those stops like crazy. Which, let's be real, that's ridiculous and just upsetting. So that's the only really big problem I have with this new update is that I feel like it's leaning towards spoofers more as them being more good in a sense that you're kind of hoping they show up for raids, and more bad because they're sort of supporting gyms and, you know, they have the ability to take them out. So that's really it for this video. There's not much I can really say. So in general, with the new gym update, I like it. Do I feel like there's some things that could be updated and fixed? Pretty much the way I would say the same thing with the raids is that the network servers probably having a problem with it. With me actually accessing them, is someone brought up a good point, is that the servers are probably getting overloaded. Because let's be real here. Apparently a lot more people are playing Pokemon Go. Heck, people I don't even know are playing the game again, which is great. So I'm kind of hoping that, like, maybe if I play the game again, like I said, I haven't played a raid or a gym since the new update, so I can't say, oh, it still sucks. No, I'm just going to be like, okay, let's just see how this works. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, well, apparently there needs more work to be done. All right, so that's about it for this video. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. So be sure to like the video if you found any of this interesting, or if you agree with any statements I said. Be sure to comment on how you feel about the new raid system and gym update. If you like it or not, it's okay. And be sure to subscribe because, I am thinking about doing something different in terms of Data Emerald. I thought about just saying a couple things, uploading videos of progress and stuff, and it's just gonna be a good time, I guess. Alright, so until next time, my crew, I will see you later.